Welcome to Sumita Roy's English classroom. I'm Professor Sumita Roy. This is the last in a series of videos on nouns. Since nouns are so important, we have to know various aspects of nouns. First, we started with a beginner's video on nouns. Then, much later, just before this, we had two other videos where we saw how the nouns are there in a sentence, what varieties of nouns are there in a sentence. Today, let us talk about what these nouns do in a sentence. We have learned to identify them structurally. We have learned to identify the various types. Now we are seeing that those same nouns, these are not different nouns. They might be the same ones which we have studied earlier. You look at all the examples which are given in the earlier videos. You look at the test passages in the earlier videos. You will find that the functions we discussed today are present there. But there I did not tell you about these functions. The reason is simple. We have to go step by step. We cannot put the horse and the cart in the wrong order. This is an idiom. This is a saying in English, that you put the cart before the horse. That means the cart doesn't go forward. The horse has to be first. Then only the cart moves forward. So this is a very popular saying. We shall have a video on idioms, proverbs, etc., where we will talk about it. But today, the work which a noun does in a sentence, the position in which the noun comes in a sentence, these are important for us. Because without these nouns, we have no sentence at all. All information is exchanged by using the nouns, and they are supported by the verbs. Without verbs also, we cannot have sentences. But before we go into detailed videos, a series of videos on verbs, we shall talk about pronouns. Immediately after nouns are over, our grammar lessons will move to pronouns, because noun and pronoun function are similar, especially personal pronoun functions are similar to nouns, but pronouns have many other varieties which we will talk about by and by. So today, let us see the various functions in which we have these nouns. Let us move on to the next slide. Here you can see the various descriptions. I have not used a very complicated terminology. That is not necessary for you. As long as you understand the function, as long as you understand what is the work which the noun is doing in the sentence, that is enough. Otherwise, terms like nominative, accusative, dative, all these are used. We are not using those. The noun has a subject function. Subject is the first noun in a sentence which shows the action of the verb. So the noun which comes in the beginning of an English sentence, and it shows whatever the verb is doing, that is the subject. So usually the position of the noun is the first word or the first noun in the sentence. There might be other words like articles, adjectives in front of it, but the first noun in the sentence is usually its subject. We should remember that the other parts become a part of the subject. Many of you wanted to learn phrases and clauses. When I'm talking to you about the phrases and clauses, I'll mention this, that you might have a subject which is 4 or 5 words. It's not a single noun at all. These we will learn much later. They are a much higher step in the grammar lessons, so it will take a longer time for us to come there. Today we deal with subjects which are single word noun, at the maximum two nouns together joined by the word and or some such thing. So we have the subject noun, the noun which does the work of the verb. Whatever the verb is in the sentence, that verb's action is carried out by the doer, which is the subject. Now we come to the next. Anything which comes after the verb is the object. Which comes before the verb shows the action of the verb. Now, whatever the verb is doing on something, it is carrying out the action on something, and that noun becomes the object. This object has different versions. When we are doing verbs, we will know that certain verbs do not accept a noun immediately. Those are called intransitive. I'll talk about it much more. So they require a preposition. Preposition is like glue, so it sticks on. You put the preposition, then attach the noun. Prepositional object. Some nouns, some verbs are there which need an object. They need a noun. Without the noun, they are hanging. They are incomplete. They are not complete. So you have to put the noun. Direct object. Direct, immediate. Certain verbs are there which require two objects, of which the one which usually comes next to the verb is indirect object, referring to human beings or animate nouns, whereas the main, that is the direct object, comes much later. The sentence can be completed with the direct object, but it cannot be completed with the indirect object. So the indirect object is, it's not directly responsible for the meaning of the sentence. There we will see many examples of this. Prepositional object, which needs a preposition to add on a noun. All these are nouns, please remember. A subject is a noun. Objects are all nouns. We've studied so many varieties of nouns earlier. Now you can make sentences with each of the nouns you identified. Make a sentence using it as a subject, as an object. You will find that you are getting hundreds of sentences of your own. That practice is most important. And then we have the possessive. The possessive shows that one noun belongs to another noun. So the noun to which it belongs comes in the possessive form. It might be the subject of the sentence, the main noun, or it might be the object of the sentence. The possessive noun is the noun which is added either to the subject or object to show a sense of belonging. Possess, belong. That is what the meaning of the word is. So you can easily make out that these are some of the points which you have to keep in mind when you are talking about the functions of nouns in a sentence. In the next few slides, we shall see examples of each of the noun function. As you can see, I have put the noun, which is the subject in these sentences, in highlighted forms with yellow. The sentence reads, the president wants a plan immediately. Now there is a noun president, there is a noun plan. We are not looking at the noun plan at all because the verb wants, the work of the verb wants is being done by the noun president. So who wants? The president. Therefore, what he wants is immaterial for us. But who is it that wants? That is the president. So the president here is the subject of the sentence. Now here, if we are talking about the subject, we have, in the next sentence, we have two nouns. Bina and Tinu came into the room. Now we have Bina here, we have Tinu here. It is both of them together are the subject of the verb came. Who came? Bina and Tinu came. So although they are together, there are two nouns. not and, of course, and has got highlighted, don't worry. Bina, Tinu, these are the two nouns. So together they form the subject of the sentence. There is another noun here, room. I'm not talking about that. We will talk about object nouns later. Some fresh vegetables have arrived at the market. So we have the noun vegetables. Some and fresh are adjectives. We are not bothered about them. The noun is vegetables, and that is the subject. Have arrived. What has arrived? Vegetables have arrived. So you say that the work have arrived, that work is being done by vegetables. So since vegetables is doing the work, therefore vegetables is the subject of the sentence. Then you have this problem has no solution. Has, the verb form. Problem. What? The problem. So therefore the has verb is being worked on by the subject. The subject carries out this function, and that is the function which we call subject. So the problem becomes subject. The discussion went on till late night. Now, earlier sentence has another noun, solution. I did not speak about that because we are only talking about subject here. But once we finish this whole video, you will come back to these sentences and you will try to identify the other noun functions also. That is a homework which all of you can do. I need not tell you what it is. I need not work them out with you because I have other slides where I will show you the other functions. But you can do it. You find a newspaper clip and you look at all the nouns that are there and try to identify which of them are the subject and which are not. In this way, you will become proficient in whatever is happening in the videos. That is what is most important for all of you. So the discussion, and then of course you have night also, we are not worried about that. Discussion here is went on, is the verb, and here discussion is the subject. Construction has been stopped by a government order. Now the noun is construction. Has been stopped is a verb form which is passive. We shall study active verbs first and then we shall study passive verbs also. Somebody had written, I think, a comment about this. That will take a little time. When we come to verbs, we will talk about all these varieties. But clearly, construction is the subject of the sentence because construction determines the whole sentence. It leads the whole sentence. So construction is the subject. The doctor asked the patient to go to for an expert consultation. We have patient, consultation. We are not worried about those. We are only worried about who asked the doctor. So the doctor is the subject. The leader and his team are responsible for this. So we have again a compound noun here, the leader and his team. So team is one noun, leader is one noun. Together they are a group, the leader and his team, a compound noun. That is the subject of the sentence. This table can seat 12 people. People is there, but we are not worried. Table is the subject. Can seat, that is the verb here. And we have the table, which is which is the leading the entire sentence, which is carrying out the action of the verb, and therefore we have the subject as table. Slade telephoned his order yesterday. Order is one noun which we are not talking about. Slade is the name of a person who is the subject in the sentence. He telephoned. So who telephoned? It is Slade who telephoned. In this way, we find that the subject nouns are usually in the beginning of the sentence. The subject nouns are the nouns which carry out the action of the sentence or in the case of a sentence like construction has been stopped, there they lead the sentence, although the action is done by somebody else. The government order does the action, but construction has been stopped. The work of stopping the government did for whom, for what, for the construction. So the lead in this sentence is construction, therefore it is the subject. I have now shown you different types of nouns which can come as the subject. Let us move to the object. You might notice that I'm pronouncing this as object. I'm putting o much stress. The same spelling can be used as a verb also, where we pronounce it as object. I put the stress on ject. Object. Ob becomes small, not like now what I'm saying. The noun form is object. Object. Ob is more and ject is less. These we will do in videos of pronunciation. Pronunciation is important for you, but much later pronunciation videos will be there. Here we have the single object for the verbs. All the verbs have one object, and they are obviously the direct object. The direct object here is the only object in the sentence. It is immediately added to the verb. The verb is incomplete without the noun behind it. The verb cannot exist in a sentence. It cannot make a complete sentence unless the object noun is provided. Suppose you look at all the words which have been highlighted in yellow, which are the direct object forms in these sentences. You will find how it works. Suppose I say, the old man pushed. Pushed what? Sentence is incomplete. So the noun, the verb's meaning depends on the object. The verb's action is carried out by the subject. All these sentences have subject nouns. I'm not talking at the subject nouns. I'm not looking at the subject nouns. I'm only talking about the object nouns here. So you see, the old man pushed. Incomplete. What? The cart. So cart is the direct object. It is the only object for the verb. So if it is only object, we say object. When there are two, the problem comes, which is direct and which is indirect. These two things you need to remember. The lecture ignited. Again, incomplete. What did the lecture ignite? Young minds. So minds is the noun. Minds here means the people who are young, the youth, the minds of the youth. We are not saying minds, youth here or people here. We are just saying minds. Minds do not exist without bodies. So we are actually talking about these we will do in figures of speech. I will take up some videos. I didn't think of that before. But we shall do figures of speech also, where you will learn how these are used, nouns are used, which to represent people, which are not actually nouns which usually represent people. Mind has many other meanings, but here the word minds refers to people. The coach strengthens the team. Now, two nouns are there, match and team. I have not looked at the match. I've only looked at the coach strengthens. Incomplete. What? The team. So if you want to add more, uh, you know, uh, information to the sentence, you can keep adding information by putting a noun. You can make the sentence long. The coach strengthens the team before the match by giving coaching every Sunday at 5 o'clock in the evening. So long a sentence. You have added before the match, on Sunday. Sunday again is a noun. In the evening, evening is a noun. At 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock is another noun. So you've added so many nouns, made the sentence long, but I'm not looking at those now. I'm only looking at objects which complete the meaning of these verbs. Without it, the meaning would be incomplete. The match, before the match is not necessary. The coach strengthens the team. End of sentence. Without the team, the word strengthens is incomplete. The sentence is hanging in the air. Therefore, we need to complete the sentence. The company has introduced new working hours. The company has introduced incomplete. What? Working hours. And new is an adjective which describes working hours. Teenagers should limit incomplete. Teenagers should limit what? Their screen time. You know, many health advisories are issued. Don't keep looking at the screen, then your eyes become spoiled. Your mind has problems. So we have these days what is called as internet vacation or smartphone vacation. So you leave your smartphone at home and you go on a holiday. So that's what it says here. Screen time is what completes the meaning of the verb limit. The chart represents, again incomplete. What does it represent? Progress. So the word progress here is the noun. The university offers incomplete. What does it offer? Online courses too. So you have online courses as, you can say courses because online is only describing. But usually these days, online courses is coming as a compound noun. The poor man abandoned incomplete again. What did he abandon? Who did he abandon? His family. So family is the noun, object of the verb abandoned. You should not touch. Again, what or who? Then you have information. What and who, etc., get you information, noun answers. Therefore, you say, this old statue. The statue is the noun. This and old are descriptions for the statue. So, statue is the object. The canopy will protect the plants. Will protect, verb form, incomplete. Plants is the noun which completes the verb. So you can see the subject is what shows the action of the verb. The object is what completes the action of the verb. The verb is central. The verb is important. The verb is like the partition. On this side is the subject, and on this side is the object. The verb requires both. Of course, there are certain verbs which don't need an object at all. When we are doing verb types, I will talk about this more. In the previous slide, we saw only one object which we highlighted, and those I told you, although I've called it as object, they were all direct objects because it's only a single object there. Now here we have each verb. It's a special kind of verb. We have a list of these verbs also. I'll talk about them in types of verbs when we do that. They require two objects. They can take two objects, but the essential one is the direct object and the non-essential one, which cannot complete, like I told you in the previous slide. That noun is needed to complete the verb. But here, the indirect form is not needed to complete the verb. It is there. It gives extra information, but it is not necessary. Here we have the movie gave the audience an idea. So you have audience, you have idea. Two nouns are there. The verb is gave. So the movie gave an idea, complete sense. The movie gave the audience, incomplete. We cannot do that. So we must remember that us is indirect, yellow, I have put it there, and idea is direct, because idea is what completes the sentence. The movie gave an idea is a complete sentence. We don't really require anything else. But we can give an indirect object, and that comes in front. Because it comes in front and I have put direct first, you might think that is the direct object, but it isn't. In all the sentences, you will find that the direct object comes at the end. It comes after the indirect form. The punishment taught the man, incomplete. If you say punishment taught the man, sentence is not complete. But you say the punishment taught a lesson, complete. Good sentence. So when we say the punishment taught the man a lesson, both objects are accepted by the verb taught, but the first of them is indirect and the second is direct. The chief guest presented the students their awards. So the chief guest presented their awards, fine sentence. But the chief guest presented the students, incomplete sentence. So students becomes indirect and awards becomes direct. Grandparents tell their grandchildren nice stories. So grandparents tell nice stories, good sentence, complete. Direct object. Grandparents tell their children, incomplete. Therefore, grandchildren is indirect and stories is direct. Similarly, the maid showed the guests the dining room. The maid showed the guest, incomplete. The maid showed the dining room, complete sentence. So the direct object has the capability of completing the sentence. The other object which is there in the sentence will not be able to complete the meaning of the verb. Therefore, we call it indirect. The musician bought his son a guitar. Son, musician bought his son. Sentence still remains, it needs some more information. The musician bought a guitar makes complete sense. There is no begging for, please give me some more information. That is not there. Then you have the goalkeeper threw him the ball. The goalkeeper threw the ball is complete. But the goalkeeper threw him, that means you are giving it a different meaning completely. The goalkeeper took a person and threw him. That's not possible at all. A ball is possible to throw, but a person is difficult to throw unless it's a boxing or wrestling match or something. We don't have such a thing here. The manager sent everyone a warning. The manager sent a warning, direct, object is accepted, but manager sent everyone is incomplete, so indirect. The committee elected him their leader. The committee elected him. So there you can say him, without their leader, him also can complete the sentence, but there you don't have two objects. The word him itself becomes the direct object. But here, since we have leader, leader is direct, and him, the committee elected their leader is just fine sentence. So that is a possibility where both are possible. That is why I gave you this sentence. The committee elected this person. Complete sentence. Nothing else is needed. But the moment there are two, then him becomes less important. The leader becomes more important. The more important, the more complete one is the direct object. The chef cooked her a special dish. So the chef cooked her is not complete. You can't cook a person. Therefore, the chef cooked a special dish is direct, and then her is added on. All these pronouns, wherever I've put her, us, him, etc., you can replace with nouns. I can do that also, but you will come across that in the test passages. Again, you have test passages today also. Here we have another variety of object. This is the prepositional object. The object cannot go directly to the noun. It cannot be added directly to the noun, to the verb, I'm sorry, not noun, to the verb, as we saw in the previous two slides. The nouns were directly added on behind the verb. But here that is not possible. The verb does not allow any noun immediately, then you use a preposition. This preposition helps to add the noun, helps to add that information to the sentence. It completes the sentence by adding extra information. The sentence may be incomplete without a direct object, as we saw in the earlier two slides. But the sentence is never incomplete without a prepositional object. The prepositional object can complete the sentence by giving extra information, adding the noun using a preposition. That is why we call it a prepositional object. Again, I have highlighted the nouns. I have not highlighted the preposition. I will tell you the preposition here orally, but we will have videos on preposition where you will revisit this video. You will come back to this slide of this video and you will check the whatever we have left out here, because with that amount of knowledge you will be able to re-look, rethink, and improve yourself much better. That is what we do. We learn from our past experiences. So the past videos are not videos which are finished. They are videos for your reference in future. Maybe 5 years into the future, you might want a particular topic or a particular example. So you go through that video where you will find these examples. The titles of the videos are clear for you to see what exactly you're looking for. So the trapped workers escaped. That is the sentence. Escaped is the verb. I'm not talking about workers, which is a noun again. You can now decide what kind of function it has. Now, the next noun which I'm targeting is mine. So I cannot say the trapped workers escaped the mine. That is not possible. Therefore, I take the help of a preposition from. From the mine. The mine is underground, they got trapped there, they escaped, and then you have to give that information. You are using a preposition. Mountain climbers often fall. Complete sentence, no problem. Mountain climbers often fall. Now you want to add some more information. You want to give from where do they fall? From the top. Top is the top of the mountain, and that is the noun. Here it functions as an object, but fall does not allow an object immediately. We cannot say mountain climbers often fall the top. That sentence is not correct English. So we say from, which is again the same preposition as before. From adds. Preposition's work is to add, to stick. So to stick the top to the rest of the sentence, you apply the glue, and that is your preposition. Soldiers marched into the battlefield. Now, battlefield is the noun at the end of the sentence, which is an object, but the soldiers marched the battlefield, we cannot say, because marched is in itself complete. We don't need. What did the soldiers do? The soldiers marched. Finished. End of sentence. Some more information. Into, preposition. Battlefield, noun is added by using that preposition. The family mourned the death of their father. The family mourned the death, complete sentence. Nothing more is needed. Now already one object is there, death, but you are adding on another object but another information with the help of a preposition. So death I'm not even talking about, because already all of you know what death is, what family is in this sentence. They have their own function. I'm talking only about prepositional objects. So we want to add father, some more information. Sentence is complete without that information also, but we are adding it to expand our communication. And what do? You choose a preposition of. So, of their father. The devout went to church. Now, here, church is the object noun, and there is also another one, health. To pray is a verb form, so we don't talk about that. But to church, church is a place, so we add on by using a preposition. The devout went, or the devout went to pray. To adds on church, prepositional object. For adds on health, preposition again, again prepositional object. The owners have moved. Okay, complete sentence. Some more information, into the new house. So house is the prepositional object and into is your preposition. The troupe danced. Complete. No need for anything more. Extra information, add on program with the preposition add. So at. So at the program. No need for that information, but that expands your meaning. Your communication goes forward. So you say, the troupe danced at the program. The bomb exploded. Again, complete. But you want to say something more. So moment, you want to add last moment. Last is here an adjective. So you say at, again preposition. Sunlight faded slowly. Complete sentence. Some more information. Dusk. Dusk is the noun here. Dusk is the evening time when the sun is setting. And we also call it by another term, twilight. I have mentioned this, I think, earlier also. At dusk. Preposition, noun. Many people fast on certain days of the week. So on preposition for days, off preposition for week. So on certain days, complete one piece of information. Off the week, again some more information, and you find that two nouns are added using two different prepositions. So these are how prepositional objects work. The possessive is the last of our noun functions. The possessive function, as I told you, shows a subject noun or an object noun belonging to another noun. This belonging is what we show by the possessive noun. The possessive noun is very easy to understand, and you can also spot it very easily because you see this sign that is called an apostrophe. It is just like a comma. It is put at the top of the sentence. If you go to the keyboard of your uh, laptop or your smartphone, you will find that, two marks are there and one mark is there. So sometimes we put that 2 marks as inverted commas, we put 1 mark also as inverted commas, but we put for apostrophe the uh, we use apostrophe to indicate the possessive. Where the possessive is a noun which has other ending, then we have to remember to add an S also. But where the noun itself ends in S, we don't add an extra S because so many S's together is pronounced, the pronunciation becomes difficult, becomes S. That is a difficult sound. It is what we call a sibilant. So that sibilant sound is difficult. We have to remember these rules when we are talking about possessive noun. So you can say, my car is new, sentence is complete. Car is the subject of the sentence. But the car belongs to somebody else. So you say, my friend's car. We cannot say my friend car. Very often such a mistake is made. The possessive is a difficult usage which many people make mistakes with. Especially for beginners, this is a lesson which is very, very important, because we tend to put the noun, the main noun, and the noun which belongs to something or someone together side by side without the possessive case. Then we have, no way of saying that that is the possessive, or understanding that a possessive is meant there. My friend car would imply that your car is your friend. That meaning change is there. So you have to remember, when you say my friend car, the friend and the car become, the one single object. But here there are two different nouns. Friend is one person, car is a different thing. And you can say my friend's family, my friend's daughter, my friend's son, my friend's brother, sister, father. All these possibilities are there. But their friend and father are two different people. So here we have two different nouns. One noun belonging to one noun, and the main noun to which the other noun belongs is the possessive noun. So friends is possessive and car is the subject. Then the girls' school is in the next lane. Lane also is noun, school also is noun. I'm not worried about that. Girls' school. Suppose the school belongs to one girl, we will say GIRL apostrophe S after the apostrophe. But here, the school cannot belong to one girl. The school belongs to a few girls, many girls, maybe hundreds or thousands. So the noun itself is girls, plural noun. Therefore, apostrophe is put, no S is put there at all. Then you have school belonging to the girls. He was looking for a men's tailor. Now, men already plural form. It does not end in S. So you put apostrophe and S. Tailor. He was looking for a tailor. Complete sentence. What kind of a tailor? Men's tailor. Tailor who stitches the clothes of men. Our dog's kennel is in the garden. Kennel is the main noun. Garden is another noun. We are not worried about that. Kennel belonging to who? Dog. So dog's kennel. Possessive, dogs. They have to pay the shop's rent. Rent is one noun. They, of course, must be, the tenants and so on. The possessive noun here is shops. It is a single shop, apostrophe, and then S is added. The children's homework today is quite simple. The children's homework is quite simple today. So you have homework, already noun is there, but the kind of homework is the homework of whom? The children's. So children, already plural, apostrophe S. This is King Charles's throne. So we have King Charles. Name ends in S and it is two-syllable name. We will learn about syllable much more. Today, let me tell you, it has two vowels. Cha, Ls, Ls. So, Charles' throne. We don't put another S. But same is there here. Name ending in Chris, single syllable. So we say this is Chris's house. Chris's house becomes two syllables. Charles's becomes three syllables, which we avoid because the more number of syllables, the more difficult the pronunciation becomes. So we say this is King Charles' throne, this is Chris's house. There are many dolls' houses here. Now see, dolls can be here singular, as I told you, or it can be dolls with apostrophe behind the S. Doll can be, the houses belonging to one doll, or the houses belonging to many dolls. If the plural noun is used here, the apostrophe will shift to the end of S and not before S. I hope you're able to follow this. Very important. The machine's parts need to be changed. The main noun is parts, but whose parts? Machines. So machine apostrophe S. Wherever the noun ends in any other sound other than S, sir sound, there we have apostrophe followed by S. An S sounding double syllable or more syllable word has only apostrophe. The plural noun ending in S has only apostrophe, no additional S. Having completed all the functions which I indicated to you in the initial slide, now we move on to the tests. As we have been doing in these all-level grammar videos, the tests are of 3 different levels. There is a simple test for the beginners, then there is a mid-level test, and then there is an advanced test for those who are already very proficient with English. These 3 levels, for the beginners, it's more of a learning exercise. For the others, it is testing themselves to see how much grammar they already know, where they make mistakes, and how to improve themselves. All the tests I have been recommending that you do first without checking the answers. The answers are obviously there in the following slide. But if you work it out, then you see the answers and you find that you have performed very well, you feel happy. If you find that you have not performed well, then you find you can improve yourself. Once you see that, okay, I've got everything wrong, nothing to feel depressed about, nothing to feel disheartened. Failures help us to learn much more than success helps us. So don't be frightened of failure. Welcome failure. So do these exercises and go ahead. As usual for the beginners, although it is a continuous paragraph, I have broken it up into simple sentences because often I get this suggestion that we want simple sentences. We want more sentences which are simple. So here you have a series of very simple sentences. This novel deals with the family's fortune. Now, what do you have to do? You have to first pick out the nouns. Then say, do they do the work of a subject or an object? Is the object direct or indirect? Is it a prepositional object or is it a possessive form of the noun? So these are the functions which you have to identify in these few sentences. It is written in English. Leave the pronouns because we are not worried. Only look at the nouns. The pronouns also have the same subject-object function, which we will talk about when we go to the pronouns video next. The story tells the reader about success and failure. The story's hero becomes a rich man. Many obstacles might be a difficult word, that is difficulties, problems, something which stops you from going forward. Many obstacles come in his way, but he faces every problem with a smile. Hard work saves the day. Some friends help him, while others are envious. Finally, when the hero succeeds, everyone praises his hard work. Fate presents the sincere man many benefits. So these are the few sentences. Look through them and then see how you can answer them. I have again given you the answers in columns. Let us go forward. See the columns. First is you have the subject column, then you have object, which is the direct object, then you have the next kind of object. A single object will come in this place. If there are two objects, then one object will come in the next column indirect and the other one will come here. Then you have a column for prepositional object, and then you have the possessive form of the noun also. So the novel, the first noun is the subject, deals with a family's fortune. Now, with is preposition, so the noun fortune is a prepositional object. We don't have any other uh, object for this noun deal. We go ahead. It is written in English. Written does not have any direct object. It has only a prepositional object, English. So in is used and then English. In is a preposition. The story tells the reader. The story is the subject. Tells is the verb here. Now it has the first is tells the reader about success and failure. The reader here is indirect object because again objects are there. Success and failure is there. Although they are prepositional objects, the story tells about success and failure. The story describes success and failure. So you have here reader coming under the indirect form. The story's hero. Now stories becomes uh, okay, family's fortune. I forgot families. In the first sentence, you have the word family's fortune. So fortune we saw already. Families is the possessive form. Here again, stories is the form. Hero is the subject. So because the hero becomes a rich man. So the story's hero becomes a rich man. Man is the object. So we put it under the here man should come, the first time man comes, that is a direct object. Later man will come, I think, as indirect object. We will wait for that. Here the word man is direct object. Many obstacles here is the subject, come in his way. Way is now the prepositional object because in is preposition. He faces every problem. Problem is object because faces is the verb, object is problem. With a smile. Smile again, with is preposition, so smile is prepositional object. Hard work saves the day. So work here is the subject, day is the object. Saves, direct object is used here, day. Some friends is subject, help him while others are envious. No more nouns here. Finally, when the hero succeeds, the hero already we have taken as subject, we don't do it a second time. But here again it is subject. Everyone praises his hard work. Work here is object again. Fate presents the sincere man. Now here is the man, indirect object here. Fate is subject and benefits is the direct object. These are the answers for the beginner's passage. A test now for the mid-level. Let's do it. Margaret Noble was an educationist. She was born in Ireland. Her father was a pastor. She was inspired by Swami Vivekananda. She came to India and served the people of this country for the rest of her life. Vivekananda gave Margaret a new name. She became Sister Nivedita. India's problems troubled her. She helped freedom fighters to work for the country's independence. Education was her favorite subject. Women's education was the responsibility she took up under the guidance of her guru. She also wrote many books and gave lectures in India and other parts of the world. Scientists, artists, and many others became her disciples. She gave everyone excellent ideas. She showed them the way to a better future. This is your test passage. Now you can look at the passage carefully, mark out all the nouns. Don't worry if they are proper nouns, common nouns, or whatever. We are not doing types of nouns today. We are doing functions of nouns. So check the function and then put them in the right column. The answers are in the next slide. The passage begins with Margaret Noble, the name of a person. It is the subject. So we've put it right on form. Was an educationist. Educationist, object. So we've put it in the next column. She was born in Ireland. In Ireland. Object Ireland is added with preposition in, so prepositional object. Her father, father is subject, was a pastor, pastor, priest, that is object. She was inspired by Swami Vivekananda. So, by preposition, Swami Vivekananda, prepositional object. She came to India. To is preposition, India is prepositional object. And served the people. The people here is object for the verb serve. So it is a direct object here. Of this country. Of is preposition, so country is prepositional object. For the rest, rest is also prepositional object, and of her life, life is also prepositional object. Then you have Vivekananda now comes as the subject. Earlier it was prepositional object, now the same noun comes as subject. Gave Margaret. Margaret was earlier subject. Now she comes in the form of an indirect object. A new name. Name here is the direct object, and the indirect one is Margaret. She became Sister Nivedita. Sister Nivedita is the object. She we are not considering because pronouns we are not talking about. India's problems. So problems is the noun here. India's is the possessive form here. Troubled her. She helped freedom fighters. Fighters is the direct object. Helped whom? Fighters. To work for the country's independence. Countries is possessive. Independence is prepositional object because for is there. To work we don't consider because to work is a verb form. We have uses for that. I will tell you how these forms of to plus verb are used in one video where verbs are being discussed. Education is the subject here. Education was her favorite subject. Subject is the object. Although subject here means different, the meaning is a topic or an area of study. Women's education. Women's is possessive. Education is, again, already we've done. That is the subject noun here. Was the responsibility. Responsibility is the object. Then you have she took under the guidance of her guru. Guru is here prepositional object because of preposition. She wrote many books. Books here is direct object and gave lectures. Gave lectures. Lectures also is direct object. In India, India becomes here a prepositional object, and other parts of the world, world also becomes prepositional of world. Scientists, artists become subjects, and many others became her disciples. Disciples is direct object. She gave everyone, everyone is the indirect object here. excellent ideas. Ideas becomes the direct object. She showed them the way. The way here is the direct object to a better future. Future is the prepositional object. Here is the passage for the advanced level. Now, I'm giving you all the explanations quite quickly. Maybe it is too fast sometimes, but you can always pause and watch, rewind and watch, do those things till the answers become clear, till the explanation becomes clear. Because unless you do this is the foundation for your grammar. The rest of all what you learn will be based on these foundation videos. These 4 noun videos are what you have to do together. Look at this passage. Buddha's stories teach people desirelessness. One such story is about a dacoit. His name was Angulimal. He killed innocent people, cut their fingers, and made a garland and wore it around his neck. People avoided the forest where he lived for fear of death. They told Buddha their problems and entreated the saint for help. Angulimal's excesses made Buddha go to the forest. He approached the place where Angulimal lived. Seeing him, the dacoit rushed forward. But however fast he approached, the man could not reach Buddha. The unbridgeable distance between them remained the same. The dacoit got tired, but still could not catch his victim. The smile on Buddha's face surprised the man. Everyone showed fear. Yet here was a person who stood still and looked calm. Finally, the saint's voice said, "You cannot catch me as long as you run. Stand still and get rid of all negatives in your mind, and then you will reach me." Angulimal was awestruck. Without thinking, he obeyed these words. And then the miracle happened. He lost all his evil desires and slowly transformed into a holy man. As I told you, these passages are not only for working out the grammar topic which we are discussing, but they are for listening, reading, speaking, and writing. You have heard the story, I've read it for you, you can take it as listening. Then you can read it yourself or tell the story to others in your own words. Write the story, expand it longer, and write it. You are getting all the 4 LSRW benefits. That is the way the videos need to be used. Don't be like a parrot when you watch these videos, only looking at what is being said and learning what is being said, mechanically. That is not what I want. I want you to use the videos creatively. Let us go to the answer.